Welcome to the Enigma Daily, Thursday edition. You know how we do around here on Thursdays? If you don't, you're about to find out. We talk about ancient civilizations, lost technology, and how everything you've been taught about your history is a complete and utter lie. So if this is the first time you're finding us, we're the sister channel of the Ancient Enigma Files. Our format is quick. 5, 10, 15-minute videos where we go live Monday through Thursday talking about current events. And today's current event happens to be something that I think is very interesting coming out of Egypt. The article, of course, will always be in the description of the video, but let's get into this right here. A recent discovery has been made in the Sinai Desert, where archaeologists have discovered, now this went down October 18th, literally this month, where archaeologists have discovered what they're calling a 3,500-year-old fortress, unlike anything they've ever seen before. Now keep your mind on that last little statement right there. Officially, the structure is being called a military outpost. Don't believe that. From the time of Pharaoh Thutmose I, around 1,500 BC, is when they're saying that this was, abandoned. But the discovery goes far beyond what you would expect from a standard defense site. Inside, they found massive ovens, right? Almost like a giant was in there cooking. And fossilized dough that is still preserved after thousands and thousands of years. Now, you might be asking, what does this have to do with something, why would I talk about this on this channel? Because this fortress has such advanced large-scale baking systems where they're feeding 1 million soldiers or perhaps something, bigger. And that's where it gets strange for a report from Egypt to come out, because normally they always lie and say, oh no, this is just ancient Egyptians, how great they were, how they were doing this and that and the other. But where this is located, this fortress is sitting in the Sinai Peninsula. It's actually tied also with Egyptian mythology, biblical history, but it was also considered a crossroad of the gods. Keep that in mind, lowercase g's, right? Pharaohs, ancient travelers, and some people believe that it guarded vital trade routes. Other people are postulating right now that it was something much, much more older and much more complex that they found in the desert. It's also very close to the Mesopotamia, the home of the Sumerians, who wrote the Sumerian tablets talking about these beings, the Anunnaki, that came from the sky, these giants, 12, 13, 15 foot tall giants that were their overlords, saying that they were gods. And if you've studied this channel at all, I'll tell you, I've also, I went viral a couple of times for talking about how it was physically impossible for modern day Egyptians to build the pyramids, and they can't do it. Not even today, they can't do it. They'll try to tell you that during the time these were, being constructed, it was the Copper Age, and they'll try to tell you that they used a technique called abrasion, where there was basically two guys would rub back and forth on this granite diorite with sand, copper, wire, and water, and it would eventually saw through the stone. That's correct. And it would take you about 4 weeks to do, one side. That's how slow the process is, right? Not with laser precision that it has, and how its cardinal points, north, east, south, and all this stuff are perfectly set up off a few, inches now because of the Earth's, rotation. That civilization was much, much, much older than what they want you to believe. They know this. They 100% know the truth. Again, this link will be in the bio. Check it, or in the description of the video. They know this. They know the truth. They'll never admit it. What happened is that an ancient civilization of people used to live there. Ancient Egyptians, not the people that are Egyptians today. And you can argue back and forth when it was built. I personally think that it's over 200,000 years old, but we'll even go back to 15,000 years, the flood, the Younger Dryas event, 14,500 years ago, 15,000. These people were there. Now, what happened is that if you read the Bible, the Israelites were sacrificing their children to these demons, and for punishment, God sent Nebuchadnezzar down to take them away. And he did. And that's where the book of Daniel actually starts up. If it's a good chunk of the Bible, you should go read the study of the book of Daniel. It accurately predicts the birth and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's very good. But after he went down there and wiped them out, he prayed and said, I have nothing to show for my efforts. So God gave him Egypt. So Nebuchadnezzar actually went down and sacked Egypt, killed everybody, took them back as slaves, left nothing there. And about 100 years later, sub-Saharan Africans migrated north. The Kemets was their name, and they just found the remains of these structures. Those are your modern day Egyptians right there. They tried to recreate the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, and their first attempt was this pyramid called the Red Pyramid. It's terrible. It's horrible. And after that, they didn't do it anymore, and they never wrote about anything else about pyramids, period. And then when the Romans came down and conquered Egypt and turned them into basically a grain vessel to produce their food, they were not impressed with anything they found in Egypt. Nothing. Not at all, right? The Romans had running water in their houses. They had bathrooms, aqueducts. They had self-healing concrete that we couldn't replicate until literally last year. Yes, concrete that would heal itself, right? If you walk down any sidewalks we have and you'll see little chunks. The Romans had concrete that when it rained, that would smooth out, right? They call it self-healing concrete, right? But back to the topic at hand with this article that we're talking about right now. This was pre-flood construction, pre-flood civilization. This was not a giant fortress. This was probably a small or a giant house. That's probably what it was. And they want to tell you that thousands of people lived there. No, not where it was located, not what it was for. And it also, people want to point into the Anunnaki timeline, but you can also point into the Watchers. If you're more into the book of Enoch and how the Watchers came down and bred these Nephilim, Anunnaki are just Nephilim. That's it. That's all they are. And so they all got wiped out during the flood, but somehow this was unearthed. And somehow, again, also 200,000 years ago, a lot of people will tell you that Egypt was actually a massive tropical jungle. And if you look across the top of it now, it's all desert. And desert actually spreads. Some of these African countries have did a phenomenal job of reclaiming the desert by planting trees on the edge of the desert, and the desert will, start falling back, right? It's amazing. You should go look it up if you're kind of a tree hugger like me. It's actually a good little story to go look at. So it's amazing that they came out and they even made the statement that this Egyptian fortress, unlike anything they've seen before. It also lines up with the discoveries in the Sinai Peninsula about this LiDAR that they've known since the 50s about all these underground massive complexes underneath, the pyramid, this left paw of the Sphinx, where this library, this Akashic record. I think it's actually some form of ancient AI. That's just me. And I think we've had it since the 50s. So, great article, worth the read. Like I said, I kind of like this type of stuff. So, we're running out of time here. Like I said, doing a quick 10-minute video on this, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give it a read, give it a subscribe, give us a thumbs up, or give us a thumbs down. Like I said, we're a brand new channel. Our format is live Monday through Friday. It's basically my morning show. But if you're interested in more of our long form content, go back to the landing page, jump over to the Ancient Enigma Files, and give us a follow there. We do a lot of great work over there with interviews, long form content and stuff like that, where we dig into everything that you see on the wall back here. So anyways, enjoy your enjoy your Thursday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're out.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.